will say the first picture of her utter thing. Maybe we should just cut all of this. So we're not
oh my god! No,
woman.
don't mention this. Don't mention this.
You know what? Don't play the video. Just we'll start in a second. But the very first picture,
she's a Nazi.
She has a Hitler mustache. So maybe this is not as light and playful as I thought. Okay, Mulligan.
To the
start
listener,
again.
to the listener who just started listening.
3, 2, 1.
Record.
Go. We just started recording.
Whoa,
Check.
Just started
Fresh
listening.
episode.
Some horrible things were happening. Impugnment. Somebody perjured themselves. I don't remember who exactly it was. And at least one of us violated the emoluments clause.
Sickening.
I think it's possible one of us violated the Geneva Convention.
That's right.
Somebody definitely
based
did.
Based upon that finding.
It wasn't me.
Whoopsie.
It wasn't me. To all law enforcement, this is not an admission of guilt. But don't listen to the rest of this.
That really is a crazy image. Anyways.
We were talking about earlier my unconventional snack.
Oh yeah. Let's hear it. What do we got?
Cottage cheese, which right off the bat, I mean, everybody's fucking turned off by it.
Cottage cheese.
Well, I think it's fantastic, personally.
Richard Nixon, famous cottage cheese lover.
Nixon mode.
Really?
Mm-hmm. All right, so
Good.
what do you got? What'd you put in that bad boy?
Maple syrup.
Oh.
Real Vermont maple syrup.
Why?
Can't beat it.
All right.
Great little snack.
You know what? I can't judge you for it.
Maple syrup and cottage cheese. Is this the extent of it?
Buddy, listen, I don't have much else, man. You got.
I bet it tastes good. I bet
It
it's the
doesn't fucking-
sweet
it's
and like
great.
the cheese. I used to put Kraft singles in my Frosted Flakes cereal my whole life growing
See,
up.
I don't think that's wrong because
I
there's
think it's the same as the cottage cheese thing.
the kind of sweet, the kind of savory thing, different textures.
Yeah.
And it's not bad.
It's a culinary journey.
Similarly, and also, growing up in the Northeast, I had, pretty good access to high quality maple syrup. And
sure.
When it was like snowing outside or something, I'd run out and grab a little snowball, bring it inside, put some maple syrup on it, and eat that.
Oh, that's
when I was a little kid, my dad used to make a cream of wheat all the time.
Yeah, I
and
love
he
it.
He would mix some honey in there, and I would eat it. And I'd be like, "Oh, what a tasty treat!" And one day I was like, "Dad, how did you discover this?" And he's like, "I don't have teeth." So when I imagine you eating cottage cheese and maple syrup, in my mind, I'm like, he takes the dentures out and starts scooping it in.
Come here, Shani. It's
slop.
Yeah, no, cream of wheat. I mean, I grew up with cream of wheat and maple syrup. Actually.
I've never had cream of wheat. I don't know what that is.
It's good.
It's
creamy wheat.
outstanding.
I don't
It's
think
the
that's
cream
part
of
of
the
the
wheat.
Cuban diet, I guess.
Farina.
Oh,
I'm definitely
farina. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I've had that.
Yeah, there
I'll
you go.
definitely be eating a lot more of it as I lose my teeth.
Spanishly
because,
farina.
These are not staying. I'll tell you that right
You
now.
have an excellent
No,
set of teeth.
your teeth are amazing, honey.
buddy.
This is just misinformation for no one's benefit. I'm fine. I'm very ready for this period of my life to occur in the next few years. Where I just because they're too expensive,
which is so insane.
It really is.
It pisses me off so fucking much. The
And the
mouth
insurance
is
is a
part of the
scam.
body. It should be covered under fucking medical insurance.
Yeah.
It's
Unless you get kicked in the jaw by a fucking horse, then you can get them worked on.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
It's a genetic lottery too. I mean, my family just has real bad teeth, especially my dad's family. I don't know if it's an Irish thing or what, but just no teeth. And I remember one time I went to the dentist,
No teeth
I don't
gang.
know, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, so in my mid-20s, and I went for a checkup, and the dental hygienist was pointing at each of my teeth. I think this is supposed to be some kind of scare tactic, and they were pointing. They went on each of my teeth, and they're like, "Okay, that you're gonna lose that one in X amount of years. You're gonna lose this one in this amount of years.
That's not true.
You're gonna lose
That
this
was
one in
a
this amount
sales
of years."
tactic.
And they're like, "This is why you gotta come to the dentist more." And I was like, "I would if I could."
Right.
fuck yeah.
I don't have any money. Obviously, if I was the fucking hot tub millionaire, I'd be at the dentist. I'd have a personal dentist just constantly shoving shit in my mouth and tuning my fucking teeth or whatever.
What do you think? I'm the king and queen of Spain. I got unlimited money and funds.
The dentist I went to when I broke my teeth, which was the only reason I went to the dentist a few months ago, they like scheduled an appointment for me to come back and get like x-rays and like a deep cleaning or whatever the fuck it is, and they didn't tell me, and then they called me to remind me of the appointment. I was like, how much does that cost? And they were like, it'll be like $600. And I was like, okay, fuck
Insane.
off forever.
Insane.
I also, like I brush my teeth. I floss my teeth. I do take care of my teeth. I haven't given up on them entirely. I try real hard. And, I just like one of the things, I have like real fucked up gums. And every time I go to the dentist, they always say that. They're like, oh, you got real fucked up gums. And I was like, I know.
They're so nice to you at the
Can you help me with it? That's your job. That's why I'm here.
Your dental hygienists are negging you.
What next? What do I do next? What is step 2 of that information?
Just, like, Mean Girls. They're like, oh my God, did you see his gums?
I had that weird, I had a whole dental emergency like about 8 months ago or so, at the end of last summer.
Gosh,
and I was like, and it took like months to get it resolved. And at one point,
they ripped
the
you
dental
off,
assistant. Man. Oh, they every dentist I went to ripped me off for this.
Yes.
But one of the dental assistants, the dentist was like trying to, I don't know, because eventually I had to get a crown to fit it in, and they were doing something with that, and they were like fiddling around with real sensitive stuff. And the dental assistant like fell asleep while I like had the hose in my mouth, like to suck out the stuff. Oh man, that was fun, because then it also cost me several $100s.
Jeez. Yeah, she's always a bit sleepy after lunch. She goes around the corner to the
Jimmy John's.
Jimmy.
There is a Jimmy John's right across the street from the dentist there.
God bless him.
She gets a little 4-pack of Sutter Home, and then sits in the parking lot with a Jimmy John's.
I used to bring those into the movie theater.
Yes,
Sutter Home format.
These fucking, I've been a moron for years. You know what the move of the century was? And I can't believe I didn't even think about it until like, it was only sophomore year of college. Because I did the last 2 years off campus due to a issue with housing and a
dental emergency.
And I was like, wait, why aren't we taking booze into the dining hall? And I would just put like a whole bottle of wine into the Nalgene or something like that, or a couple beers or something like that, into a Nalgene bottle, and you're just boozing while you're eating. What's
alcoholism origin stories.
All right. Listen, I've been known to imbibe once or twice.
It. Nobody knows.
Oh man.
Okay, you know what? When excuse me.
As soon as my life gets easier, I'll stop drinking.
When we went to go see the Venom sequel in theaters, we brought in a bottle of like a tequila.
We did.
And I poured an equal amount into each of our soft drinks, and you took a sip, and you were like, "Oh, you didn't give me enough." You started haggling with me about how much fucking liquor I'd poured into yours, and I was extremely fair.
You were very fair.
It's a 90-minute movie.
I gotta have my medicine. Okay. I gotta have my medicine.
Oh, man. You should be boozing in public more often. Public parks, like New York should be.
I like to throw a public park.
Public park. What more do you want than to meet up with a friend on a Sunday afternoon and have a little glass of some New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc together, followed by
nice
several
Coke Zero.
vodka tonics, and then maybe a couple Fireballs, and then I'm thinking perhaps move on to some high ABV. Beers, malt liquors, perhaps.
You got this all planned out.
It's the continental way. You would simply be enjoying yourself. If this was in Europe, then this is what they would be doing. It's ridiculous how prude we are.
Let's cut in here. I'll send you the clip from Mitchell and Webb.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
It's the continental
They
way.
wouldn't dream of starting the day without a few cans or perhaps a vodka.
10%? Blimey. That's quite a lot, isn't it, John?
Yes, Hugh. It's the most alcohol per milliliter at the lowest cost in this corner shop.
Is it really? How fascinating. Well, it's the continental way, isn't it? In Spain, they wouldn't dream of starting the day without a couple of cans and maybe a vodka. Probably.
Yeah.
Was it in New York that they just legalized to-go drinks?
It's complicated.
There was
Wait,
like a tweet.
is it legal now?
I didn't know that it was legal.
I saw a tweet yesterday. I don't know all the New York politicians. I'm so sorry. Yeah, here it is. I'll show you.
Good.
I'll show you the tweet.
They're all fucking.
Is this the
dog
governor
shit.
of New York, Kathy Hochul?
Hochul, yeah.
Hochul.
I just learned how to pronounce that.
Here, I put that there.
All right. We are legalizing to-go drinks to support small businesses because I know we could all use a drink. That's what her team came up with?
And then she is like raising a glass. I mean, it's funny because it's just like so normalized to be like, couldn't we all use a drink? I don't know.
I'm fine with that.
I guess.
But yes,
You should be able to drink in public.
I'm a shameful alcoholic.
You should be able to drink in public parks, in, school zones and
in schools themselves.
This is anecdotal, so
Yeah.
and I'm sure that there is somebody who does live here and is gonna tell me that I'm wrong or something. And that's fine. But fucking over 10 years ago, when I was like 18 or 19, I went to Berlin for like a week, and it was in the middle of fucking winter. It was like right around Christmas time, and beautiful city. On the subway trains there, two things of note. First of all, no turnstiles. It's just like honor system.
Good.
God.
You just walk on, and you're supposed to buy a ticket, but like they only sort of check sometimes. They do like random checks. And the second thing is, I was there just as a tourist with a friend, and we were going around. So I was the one like trying to wake my friend up very early to be like, I want to hit all these museums and go to all these like famous spots and stuff. And so we would get on the subway during like commuter hours, and I would see what appeared to be businessmen and women in like full suits, like were with the briefcase and everything, ready to go to work, just like drinking a beer on the subway.
What?
At fucking 8 a.m. And I was like, that is so cool. And then it like hit me. I was
That is
like,
not cool.
It's sad.
I mean, but hey, I don't know. Like you said, it's the continental way.
It's the continental
apparently.
way.
Yeah.
Also, the beer there was like 1,000 times better than anything
Well,
I've had
obviously.
here. So it's understandable. I'm guessing it's something similar to wine in France.
It's
or
no
Italy or
Genesee
whatever.
cream ale, which had to hold on me for most of my junior year of college. Now that I'm thinking about it. Fuck, I drank it warm because we barely had a refrigeration. Oh my God.
Cold pizza and warm beer.
Yeah, man.
Breakfast of champions.
That's it, baby. All right.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up because it's maybe one of the more disturbing things among a litany of disturbing things that we heard about this week about the Republican Representative John Rose.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I am against the normalization of pedophilia, and seems like
That's a bold. It's a
big
Wow.
one to say.
Can he
I
say
know.
that?
Did you guys happen to read into the ins and outs of it?
I did. Yeah, a little bit.
Did you see
it's
the
really,
picture?
it's really bad. Yeah. It's really disturbing.
fucking bad.
Yeah. If you want to describe it for those not familiar.
I mean, I know he
He met a girl in high school and then married her.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
that was
Right?
it. Yeah,
That's
that's
it. No, that's it. No, in my obviously it seems completely weird and inappropriate. Obviously, there's the dynamic of power here and shit like that, and it's just like fucking disgusting. How are these people like not immediately just like tarred and feathered and then left like on a street somewhere? Can I
What
say
was
that?
he like? What was he like 50 when he met her?
He was 45 when they married. I'll
Wait,
just read.
But he's 57 now.
Oh yeah. So this is a while ago.
Yeah, they got married in
Oh,
2011, I believe. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Or that's when
was
she
like,
graduated high school.
so she
actually,
was, like,
which
really
may be
young.
the same year. I'm not sure.
Let me read. Let me read from
Yeah.
this from the American Prospect. This is by Ryan Cooper and Alexander Salmon. It says here in March 2007, a 17-year-old high school senior traveled 4 hours from Eagleville to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to participate in the state's 79th annual Future Farmers of America Convention (FFA). Over the course of 3 days, her Eagleville High School chapter competed in the state competition, and 9 of its members, including Chelsea, won the State Superior Award, a top showing. That wasn't all. Chelsea also won the state job interview contest and was even named the 2007-2008 Tennessee FFA Association state president. Very cool. Very cool. Among the convention attendees was her future husband And then vice chairman of the board of the Tennessee FFA and current Tennessee Congressman John Rose. So quite a position of power then. Not even 4 years later, according to an engagement announcement in the now defunct local paper, the Eagleville Times, the two were married. Chelsea was at the time 21-year-old college senior at Tennessee Technical University. John was a 45-year-old software executive with a long history of involvement with the Tennessee FFA, a board member of both the FFA and a chairman of the board at Chelsea's college.
Cool.
Very weird. So they go on to talk about, like, you know, some hypocrisy and you know, the terrible things that Republicans, you know, are doing, and QAnon and all that stuff. So, and I'm going to scroll down here. It says, it's unclear exactly when the romantic relationship between the two began. The Eagleville Times reported that Chelsea has a birthday in August, and the Tennessee voter files have an entry for her married name with a birth year of 1989, which was 1 year after Rose, who was born in 1965, graduated from the Tennessee Technical University. So point is, she was born when he was fucking just graduated college. Very fucking weird. Fucking disgusting. I mean, it's
not good.
No, not a great look.
Since I found out about this the other day, and I believe it was Ryan Cooper who originally tweeted about it, as well. But like shortly after that, it did not take long for somebody to immediately edit that guy's Wikipedia page, refer to her as his child bride, and then like I kind of like watched it like over the next couple days as like it would like, you know, get edited, and they locked it for a little while, but like I checked back in it the other day, and it's like people kept trying, I guess, like different phrasings of it that they wouldn't delete, and like finally like the most recent iteration of it is like it just like throws in that his wife graduated college in 2011 or something like that. Finished her undergrad in 2011.
Jesus Christ.
It's funny because on his website, you know, he there's like a tab for like in the press, and I guess he's a very literate congressman. He writes a lot of op-eds. Nothing since February listed. No press mentions.
Interesting.
Since then, but
interesting.
There's one. I thought about reading some of these out, and they're just, you know, they're very boring in the way you can imagine, but the headlines give you a sense. Here's an op-ed by him called "The Chinese Communist Party has covered up the truth about the origins of the coronavirus, and big tech was complicit."
Oh boy.
There it is.
So I guess Twitter is irresponsible. Well, where was another one here? There was one about 9/11. There's one that just says Rose supports the rights of states and the right to life. So you know what you might expect. Defend our police and defend our nation. Starts off with a line about how police officers have been demoralized by all the protests. This is from September 2020. And a lot of caveats saying, like, yeah, the murder of George Floyd was bad, but...
Jesus Christ!
So, you know, I mean, it's the obvious... It's almost like the cartoonish hypocrisy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the... whatever, family values centered conservative, when in reality I'm like a fucking creep in my personal life, not to mention like a horrible asshole in my public life as well. So
unreal.
He's also just a really weird looking guy. I'm sorry to say it.
Yeah, no, he's just a farty old weird Republican congressman. Whoa. Okay, we can bleep that. We can definitely bleep that. In fact, I would most certainly bleep that.
His software company has one of those IT certification. Like, he's like the president of that. It's like an IT certification company.
You should not be able to like concurrently own a business and be in public office. Like, this is fucking basic 101 state building shit. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Disgusting lech. If I may, speaking of disgusting leches, I don't know if you caught this, but are you familiar with the Gridiron Dinner in the Gridiron Club dinner? It's an annual dinner in DC for DC's elite, and it turns out it's been a fucking super spreader event.
Oh, really?
Okay, so check this out. So I'm reading here from the New York Times. It was updated 10 minutes ago. I wonder if somebody else got in fucking.
Has anybody died?
Unfortunately, it's too early to tell, so there's still time. We're hoping for the best. But it says here, at least 53 people test positive after A-list dinner in Washington.
Dude.
Yeah.
How many people were there? Do you know?
Yes, I will tell you right now. At least 53 people have tested positive for the coronavirus since attending the Gridiron Club and Foundation's annual dinner last Saturday in Washington, the group's president has confirmed on Friday. The Gridiron Club dinner, an annual white tie roast between journalists and presidential administrations, was held at the Renaissance Hotel, but a night of good-natured ribbing has devolved into an outbreak of cases among the Washington elite, including members of Congress, member of the president's cabinet, and journalists. Fucking disgusting pestilence, disgusting fucking weirdos. About 700 people were at the event, including 628 guests seated in the ballroom, Gridiron organizers said. Attendees were required to show proof of vaccination, but not a negative test result, and face masks were not required during the program.
Doing a little Mask of the Red Death action in there.
Among those who have publicly announced being infected with the virus after attending the dinner are Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, Attorney General Merrick Garland, Valerie Biden Owens, the president's sister, because we definitely don't have any nepotism in government, and Representative Adam Schiff of California.
Shifty Schiff.
Shifty Schiff.
Yeah.
President Biden did not attend the dinner. I didn't want to go.
Yeah,
He's not looking good, man.
I told my sister Valerie to go in my stead. I said, make sure to tie the shoelaces under a few of the fellas' tables, you know?
I like how your Biden is particularly sleepy tonight.
Yeah, well, he's tired.
That's why I couldn't go.
He's tired.
I was up until 8:30 on Tuesday.
Say I didn't want to miss night court.
I didn't want to miss night court. I usually fall asleep. I know when it's time to go to bed because I dropped the remote next to me.
You gotta have your cottage cheese at home watching night court.
I got a spoonful of cottage cheese.
When I was a senator, I didn't have somebody that would get up and make me some warm milk, but now I got somebody I can call. So, Mr. President, you want the usual 2%? I said, no, I want whole milk tonight. I'm feeling good. Push me right out.
Jesus.
He'll be dead soon.
Put an like he's what?
He really
he's
looks
79?
really bad. He looks really bad.
He's a fucking old man.
Yeah.
He's a fucking old man. He's 79, man. He's gonna be 80 this year.
I won't
What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing
right now?
What are we fucking doing?
Everybody,
This is so stupid. I fucking hate all this.
I know it's like ageism or whatever, but like a lot of the people in our government are just like too old. Like this is like you should not even have to be like working at that age, and you shouldn't be like in charge of what 20-year-olds are allowed to do with their bodies if you're like 80, I think.
But this like I think about I've unplugged I've gotten so ornery. I've unplugged my own fucking headphones. This is like the thing that I think about all the time when I'm like on a bike or whatever, and I've got some time to think, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like a mistake. It doesn't feel like a mistake, and this it's just kind of like abstract in my head, but it's like I feel like America just like it had this trick only once. Of like, you know, build it. Like, we could only have an America once. Like we like post World War II America was such a specific part, and we thought that there was just going to be like generations each have their own experience, and they make it their own, and they make it what it is. But the reality is, like we're still being run by the same kind of like social order that has existed since like post World War II America.
Sure.
And like and the same. That's why it's like we talk about all the time on the show, like. Man, is this fucking guy again? Like, how many times are we gonna run into fucking Grover Norquist and shit like that? It's like all the same people that just like keep showing up left and right. And it's like, I think it's just because that power structure has never changed. And they will, and if that's the case, like, there's no incentive. In fact, they have an incentive to hold on to it and not hand it over to the younger generations. Who also, by the way, have been, you know, in the case of like millennials, as we know, and probably this will be the case even worse for Gen Z, We're literally the most disenfranchised economically generation in American history, going back to the fucking signing of the Declaration of Independence. Like, it's the same gerontocracy that just still holds on to it. And if they were to put it out, cede some power to us, we would do things like, I don't know, redistribute wealth so that we can weather climate change. They're going to fucking die. And we're going to be the ones that are living with it. So of course they don't want to fucking give up the power in order to, you know, mitigate some of the insane, you know, societal stresses that we're going to have to deal with because of it. It's fucking bullshit. I don't really feel that strongly about it.
This is not really in addition to that, but I was thinking about it right before you started talking. I found John Rose's like office number, and I thought like, oh, I'll give him a call. But then I thought even better when you were doing the Biden, we should start doing calls where you call like these
please
like
hold for
people,
the president.
Yeah, as the president, and just tell him you're gonna arrest them.
We should do that.
I want to call you, give you fair warning.
That probably is a crime.
It is.
No, that's
it is.
if impersonating a police
really
officer
funny.
is a crime, then impersonating the president is probably up there.
They're so harsh with prank calling now.
Report it to your nearest stalag for processing.
What if you don't say it's the president? What if you just do the voice? Did you consider that?
Your political re-education.
You know who this is.
Say it's one of your
make it-
constituents.
We're gonna make you watch Hamilton.
Come on, man.
Over and over again. We're gonna subscribe you to Disney Plus. You're gonna have to watch Hawkeye and explain it to me, so I can understand Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness. Is Professor X back? I don't know.
That's just me.
That's your assignment.
And this is Shane. I thought when you said Hawkeye, I thought you were talking about MASH.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right.
Yeah. Well.
Let's get you on that Watch Mojo kick again. Let's get you back in there.
Get on my fucking level.
You know.
I do love MASH though.
Yeah. You know, I've had and even now, you know, I don't want you're gonna hate me. I can't put myself in this.
What did you put in cottage cheese now?
No. No, I found like another YouTube channel. Go ahead.
I just imagine Dwight, like, when he's not recording the show, he's like in like a 17th century like frock coat in his like little cabinet of curios with like cardinals and other strange birds like in fucking like cages, and he's just mixing different tonics and elixirs into cottage cheese, trying to like spin it into gold. He's like suffocating a rat with some kind of new gas and under a glass thing, and then like taking a taste of cottage cheese to see if there's
no, not this one.
Not quite right. Not
damn
yet.
I was so close.
I had a thought the other day. I was like what about tahini in cottage cheese? And buddy, let me tell you, that was a fucking miss.
I would think that would be a miss. Yeah.
Was that bad?
You know what's really good in it? The classic pineapple.
Oh, I love that, man.
Simple. So simple.
What about like rum?
I don't know.
Rum and cottage cheese.
Really good way to hide your alcohol from your family.
There you go.
I have rum in the kitchen. I could try that.
That's a perfectly normal thing that
don't.
no one will ever call you out on. You just bring a bowl of cottage cheese with you to work or to the public park.
Show up to
just loaded with fucking rum.
Just
no one's gonna
reeking
know.
of rum.
show up to a parent teacher conference, and I'm just like, there's curds just like falling into my facial hair,
Just stuck in your beard and
stinking
just
of booze.
Covering your
Tell me
doublet,
about this little prick.
your baroque doublet that you're still wearing from your experimental period, just covered in rotten cheese.
My life, it's pretty crazy.
Okay, you were gonna tell us about some horrible YouTube channel that's
Something
going
weird.
God, I was
my
hoping
fucking
it would
brains
pass.
out.
No, it's like I'm trying to find it now because I don't even like know how to do it, but it's the whole movie, but in like 12 or 14 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And it's like an automated voice. It's like reading off a script and stuff, and it's like, the man was upset that his child was stolen. And so he went downstairs and he, picked up the gun. It's like all very like
that's really funny.
And I get to watch the whole movie in 14 minutes. Why wouldn't I do that?
That's what you watch instead of movies? I thought you were saying that was really bad and a joke.
I don't have time.
Dwight.
You know what movie you'd like then,
movie.
Dwight?
What?
I caught this one last weekend. This movie Night Train to Terror, which is like this Z-tier horror movie from the 80s where the director / producer, I guess, bought a bunch of already like films that were in the can that were just like terrible like horror B movies and then cut them all down. They're all like 90-minute features and he cut them all down to like 20 minutes and then made it an anthology film with the worst wraparound stuff. It's it's compared to like Ed Wood levels of bad.
This is the one with the song, right?
Yes, yeah, and it has a fantastic little number in it that will definitely do the outro as a show because it's been a fucking brain bug stuck in my head now for
now I'm
like
singing
over a
it
week.
And I've never even seen the fucking
it's so
movie.
Good. It's so good.
So now you all have to.
I mean, it's terrible. It's not actually good. It's really bad, but if you enjoy bad movies, which I do, but
it's
or
no wish
in Dwight's
upon.
case, they take these already nonsensical 90-minute like terrible horror movies, cut them down to 20 minutes, and then have narration to try to fill the gaps, and it's very Ed Wood kind of narration. So you might enjoy those.
I'll see what I can do.
I guess it's available on Tubi.
Get it.
What's the last movie that you watched
it.
all the way through? Dwight?
Good question.
Be honest. Be honest,
I'm
too.
just
Don't say it like a
curious.
joke answer.
Yeah.
Be honest.
I got through 2/3 of
Doesn't count.
recently.
Already doesn't count.
I want to know what it was, though.
This year, The Constant Gardener.
Why didn't you finish it if you were 2/3 in?
Ran out of time.
What else? What did you have to run to an appointment?
He like pulls out a handful of cottage cheese out of his pocket. He's like, "Look at the time! I've got to go."
Ran out of time.
All right,
Didn't
what's
have
the
time.
last full movie that you watched in a movie theater? Maybe. What have you got?
In a movie? In a movie
Yeah.
theater? I don't know.
When was the last time you stepped foot inside a Cinemaplex?
Tell us right now, or I swear to God.
I used to go down. I used to have to drive all the way to Harrisburg to go to a Nickelodeon.
I watched the strong man kiss the lady. 20-second long picture. You had to crank the wheel. You could make it go in slow motion. No sound.
I don't
Except
know.
except the smacking of your own lips as you looked and wished that you were giving her a kiss.
I think I saw Us, maybe.
Really? Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, but
the last movie he saw in a movie theater is like he was like in the movie theater where it's like the train coming towards the screen and you got so spooked that you jumped out and you were too traumatized to ever go try it again. Yeah.
no, it was
The locomotion was advancing.
I'll tell you too. It was a place. I can't recall what it was. I can't recall what it was called. It was in the Upper East Side. I think it was on like First Avenue or something. And
Probably AMC or Regal.
no,
Them's the
it was,
ones.
but I think it was one that was like a fancy one where it's like they had like drinks and food maybe.
Oh sure, yeah.
Which I don't partake in because I just have the cottage cheese with rum. But
Of course.
I remember I was sitting there with the group I was with, and there was like little underlights on the stairs and stuff like that, and I see like a shadow, and then we kind of like focused our eyes, and there was, I don't know if it was rats, but it was definitely mice,
Mm-hmm.
and it was, for the rest of the time it was just like, and it was, Us is like a scary movie, right? So it's like you're getting a little spooked or whatever, and it was like very clear that we're just like, we're not alone. Like there's like a rodent infestation in this fucking place. And so we went, not to be like, fucking, Karen or whatever, but like the people that I was with were like, we need to like tell the manager that there's like a fucking, and
They're calling him the cottage cheese Karen.
we talked to the guy, who's a nice young kid, and he was like, he was probably 3 years older than me, and he was like, yes, please call and report this. It's hell to work here. The place next door has been abandoned by the developers or whatever for like several years, and all of us are in hell. I don't know what to do. We're at the end of our ropes.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, fuck, dude.
That's
it's
so sad.
So I think Dangerfields Is that the old comedy club that is like shut down or whatever? Anyway, we remember.
Well, don't name them because then we're naming a rat infested business on the show.
No, it's defunct. It's like an abandoned.
Oh, the place you were at is closed too?
No, the place that was next to it, which was it was a defunct place or whatever. And I don't know if they were it was closed. But it was
it belongs to the rats.
I looked in like peered my face in the window and there was rats crawling around, man. It was fucking disgusting. So needless to say, I've not been yet to a theater. Not for just rat-related reasons. Clearly, there's something wrong with me. But yeah, and I enjoy movies. You know what? I watch.
I love the movies.
You know what I watched the fucking watchclips.com of again twice is Shane. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I love that film.
Clips.
That's a good film to watch in its entirety.
Yeah, but I know it. I've seen it before. I just want to see the highlights to remind myself of it.
That's actually not a bad idea in general, just to remind yourself.
The Great Gatsby. I love that film, The Great Gatsby.
That's your favorite, like, call-out type of film?
Love The Great Gatsby.
It's
love
good,
that film.
It's good.
The 74 one with Robert Redford, Sam Waterston, Mia Farrow, and Bruce Dern.
I tried reading it as a kid, and I never liked it. I just got real bored.
The bad Gatsby.
I don't know. I think I just got into a I had a funk about it. I was like, I don't give a shit about these rich people.
That's how Dwight feels about
problems.
Movies.
Yeah. Like I don't care about these like sad millionaires. I don't give a fuck. I really I'm sure it's a wonderful book. It's just
fine.
For whatever reason I was real resistant to it. I tried, there were a lot of those sort of like classic American novels and stuff that I really gave an earnest go at in my teenage years. And I read a lot too. It's not like I just was totally disinterested in reading, but the other one I tried to read a lot and just really never stuck was Hemingway.
I don't like Hemingway.
It just bored me.
I
liked Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah,
because that was short. That was really short, and his style of writing I could take.
I do appreciate that
was.
succinct
Like,
writing
novella.
style, kind of.
But the other books I tried to read I think A Farewell to Arms.
The best classic high school read is Frankenstein. That's a banger. Just my opinion.
I don't know if it, I don't think we had that. Yeah, I think all our books were
really.
All our books had pages missing and shit like that, and all writing.
That's why you watch Mojo.
Yeah, because they're missing. It's all fluff. Most of it's fluff, except the cool thing when like the guy's head blows up and shit like that. In all the movies,
that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's that cool dude. You remember that cool scene from that movie? Yeah,
somebody's gonna clip this on film Twitter and just like ruin your life.
Roast me. You can't hurt me. None of this is meaningful to me except Midnight Cowboy. I love the movie Midnight Cowboy.
Oh, Midnight Cowboy is great. Yeah,
Midnight Cowboy.
That's what I based my life around that movie.
I would love Shane. Please,
Ratso Rizzo.
Shane, do you know what a great pleasure it would be for one Halloween for you to be Ratso and for me to be fucking Tex or whatever.
John Voight.
Yeah.
I must have told this story once on the show, but when I was like a teenager, there was like a showing at the IFC theater of Taxi Driver. It was like a midnight showing. They'd show like sort of classic and culty films and stuff. And I was going on a first date with a girl, and I was like, oh, it'd be a great movie, like Taxi Driver. We should go see it. Like, I love this movie. It's like it's got so much of like New York in it and everything, and it's like this is like who I am. I was really into the whole that kind of 70s Scorsese thing. And then we went in the movie, and the second it started, I was like, oh fuck, right? I'm like, I just remember the plot of this movie. I was just thinking about the ambiance, like the rain falling on the thing. I was like, I'm not like this. I swear.
I don't know or remember if it made it onto the last episode, but I definitely just very recently mentioned this exact story to Dwight.
I thought you were talking about Midnight Cowboy. You're talking about Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we said that, and I was like, oh, but that's because the fucking in the thing he takes her to an inappropriate movie, like it's in the movie,
right,
and he ruins the first date.
Yeah, I think we just talked about it last week. See, I love you so much. I tell your little stories when you're not here.
That's nice. That's nice.
I'd like to see you again. I'd really like to see you again.
There's worse De Niro's. There's worse De Niro's.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Worse De Niro.
It was like a median.
Yeah,
was good.
yeah, it was
I think
in the
if you
middle.
did it more, you would get it really good, Dwight. Don't give up.
Okay. Okay. It's and he does that little glottal trill in the background.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
That's his
good.
classic.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
classic
good.
move.
It's from years of sleep apnea. Before we get too far away, I just there again, in the light of the things that I've been thinking about when I'm on a city bike and crossing bridges and all that stuff, and I had a thought that struck me the other day that I was like, we know that there's been like a reduction in life expectancy as a result of COVID and stuff like that, and so there's something I've been thinking. Well, actually, the real question that I had in my head was like, it started off with that, and then I started seeing all these other articles about like U.S. economy. I'm just reading here from like a couple different things that came up. CNN: U.S. economy flashes a recession warning sign. Forbes: this recession indicator is flashing a warning signs as Fed, war, and oil threaten economic recovery. And like a few other things that are just like, and what they're talking about is the yield curve. Mm-hmm. And this has to do with like treasury bonds and all that stuff. And I'll just read here very quickly just to flesh it out. From that CNN business article, it says, inverted yield curve often occurs before recessions. It says, an inverted yield curve has often been a potential recession signal. The yield curve inverted in 2019 before the 2020 COVID-induced recession. It also did so in 2007, right before the 2008 global financial crisis and the Great Recession, and it inverted in early 2000, right before the dot-com tech stock meltdown. So, this is not fucking good, basically, is what it means. And there's different kind of like factions of people who read the economy and the stock market and all that stuff and financial markets and all that stuff that say, well, it's overblown. It's not that big of a deal. And, there's many other things that can happen beforehand. And so I was like having these kind of like two thoughts sitting in my head. Well, the first one about like, hey, what was the reduction of life as a result of the of COVID? And I did some research to see if I could quantify that. And if I could just read quickly from this is a paper that was published from the California Center for Population Research at the University of California in LA, and it reads this, and it was by Patrick Huveline, and the title of the paper was as follows: Global and National Declines in Life Expectancy, an End of 2021 Assessment. So kind of doing like a retrospective at the end of 2021, it being, about 2 years into the COVID pandemic. And I was like, I know, like instinctively, like many people died. We have to look at this. But I want to just read the abstract because I think it's very illuminating, and then we'll tie it into the recession piece. And it reads as follows. It says, timely, high-quality mortality data have allowed for assessments of the impact of the novel coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19, on life expectancies in upper, middle, and high-income countries. Extant data, though imperfect, suggest that the bulk of the pandemic-induced mortality may have occurred elsewhere. This article reports on changes in life expectancies around the world as so far as they can be estimated from the evidence available at the end of 2021, right? So what was it? It says, the global life expectancy appears to have declined by 0.92 years between 2019 and 2020, and by another 0.72 years between 2020 and 2021.
Wow.
So just to be clear, I mean, globally, that's, almost 1 2/3 years on average taken away from our lives as a result of this, which is just, to me, it's just like so upsetting. And it says, continuing here, it says, uncertainty about its exact size aside, this represents the first decline in global life expectancy since 1950, the first year for which a global estimate is available from the United Nations. Annual declines in life expectancy from a 12-month period to the next appear to have exceeded 2 years at some point before the end of 2021 in at least 50 countries. So to be clear, in 50 countries, it's showing that it is decreased by over 2 years.
I wonder how that's calculated, and if it's like that's the average life expectancy for a child then born in that year. or how that works.
Great question, and I'm sure it enumerates this in other ways here within the paper, but I am a dum-dum. But I just want to read this last portion. It says, and this is just like to understand the scale and the awe of it. It says, since 1950, annual declines of that magnitude had only been observed on rare occasions, such as Cambodia in the 1970s,
oh shit,
Rwanda in the 1990s, and possibly some sub-Saharan African nations at the peak of the AIDS pandemic. So, just like taking that in is just, I feel like I've gotten punched in the stomach, and just understanding how like acutely horrible it is for us. And so I started to think, like, I had a question in my mind, which was like, that's fucked up. But also, this is coupled with economic factors as well, like recessions. And so my question was literally just simply this. How many people die during a recession? For things like, just loss of health insurance. And this is a study that we've discussed before on the show, which was a Lancet study. And this is just reading from the Telegraph from 2016. It says the financial crisis, the 2008 financial crisis, caused 500,000 extra cancer deaths. Yeah. And that was because of lack of health insurance. And they go to note below in the article the fact that in countries where there was universal health care, there were nearly no extra deaths. But the point is, like, in a recession, with a country with not great human rights like the United States, I think we could say, is you got to pay to play, man. You got to pay to play. You got to be a productive worker in order to have dignity. And so I found this from the Bank of International Settlements, a December 2020 paper that was written by Sebastian Dorr and Boris Hoffman. And I'll just read the abstract here, just so we like understand. And this is like, again, this is satisfying for me in the sense that like I knew that something felt wrong about these kind of thoughts, and I wanted to kind of put some quantitative data to it, and this is it. So this is called, the title of the paper is called Recessions and Mortality, a Global Perspective. And it said, this is just the abstract here. It says, using panel data covering 180 countries over 6 decades, this paper shows that recessions are systematically associated with higher mortality rates. During years when GDP falls, death rates rise, primarily in emerging markets and developing economies, and there among children in particular. In advanced economies, death rates increase only slightly. We further find that the scarring effects of recessions persist for several years, and that deeper recessions lead to larger increases in mortality. In contrast, booms and periods of subdued growth are not associated with a marked decline in death rates. So you would think like, oh, when things are fucking bad with the economy, people die. But when things are good, we live longer. Not the case. Not the case. Our findings have implications for the policy response to COVID-19 and suggest that the eventual death toll of the pandemic may be understated if the impact of the coronavirus recession is neglected.
I mean, I think there's millions of excess deaths because of COVID already, right?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I remember seeing an article about it last month, and it is just, because of compounding factors, not just the recession stuff, but also just the long period of time that nobody was going to the doctor or to the hospital when they needed to.
Also true.
I mean, just anecdotally, I mean, when you were having some serious health issues, Scary, and we
when the EMTs came in, they were like,
they literally said you shouldn't go to the hospital because the ER is overflowing with COVID
while I
patients.
had a joint locked out of place.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, so now what? Then what do we do?
And they were like, oh.
That was the same time. That was the time too when they came over, and one of the EMTs was attending to the other guy was like looking at my bookshelf, and he was like, "Oh, hey, buddy, you got a lot of fucking books about Stalin here."
That was really comforting to me as I was in some of the worst pain.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I mean, it's, I think even still, like, whatever we have are just like estimates, but even the estimates are like in the millions of excess deaths just from COVID.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
I had this really kind of bleak thought about it the other day. just in terms of like the kind of ongoing, because obviously, you know, being in the middle of it and kind of going through these various different successive waves and this sort of shifting and unclear set of policies from, you know, the semblance of authority that exists in the social order, right? Like telling you what to do, what not to do, what are the signals, is it, you know, good, is bad, whatever, you know, like is this period over? Was this a unique period? Do we have to live with some of this now? What does that mean? All that kind of stuff. And I was like, I was just cruising on Wikipedia on the page for plague outbreaks, and
I'm so sorry. The dog got the door open somehow. I think he broke it. I'll be right back.
Love it. Please continue about plagues, Shane.
Oh, sure, yeah. So now I'm just worried that Rolo broke my fucking door.
Go take a look if you got it, man.
Give me one second.
No, it's fine.
Rolo, no. My Peter Falk.
He's such a little monster.
Anyway, shit, I don't even know what I was saying now.
The plague, Wikipedia.
It doesn't matter.
Oh man,
you know. What was? Oh, okay. I remember. I was kind of just looking around, and because there, you know, the actual like plague, the disease that is called the plague, right? It's estimated, you know, has had a certain number of breakouts throughout history. Some of it we can know, some of it we don't know for sure, because you know they have to go back in the archaeological evidence. It's assumed to be one of the first major outbreaks of it, at least in the West, is during the time of Justinian. There's it was called the Justinian plague, and then there was like the Great Black Death, you know, which happened during the Middle Ages. And then there were like subsequent kind of outbreaks of it, and typically in local places, right? Like it would just sort of appear in one place and be around for a little bit. And I always kind of knew that in my head. I remember a long time ago and being in London as a little kid and going to some museum, and they were talking about there was like a plague outbreak in like the 1600s at some point. You know, it was just like several hundred years after the major outbreak, you know, when it killed like most of the people in Europe and stuff. I was just happening to like scroll through and look at some of these outbreaks, and like even the localized outbreaks of, you know, this kind of like mega disease it would be like, you know, 5 years. It would just be in like one place. It would be like, and that wasn't even like the acute period of it, you know, just sort of like be around in this area for a couple of years and a bunch of people would die and that'd be it. And I don't know, something about seeing it like that. You know, to see that, you know, just, I don't know, there's some distance in it when you look at it through history, but to just look at it as like to see a whole number of years that you're realizing you're also kind of living through, you know, like there will be some period where there'll be some kind of end to this, and 20, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, they'll look and it'll just be like a fucking 4 or 5 year period.
Yeah.
They'll be like, here was the major outbreak, and then there'll probably be another smaller version of that outbreak that comes along later. But while you're in the middle of it, it's so weird because you have all these whiplashes constantly of like what the fuck is going on and what's being accounted for. I mean, I know certainly in my workplace, you know, at the school, like we got like a message a couple of weeks ago. It's like, we're gonna go no more masks, and then like
unreal.
5 days later, they're like, you know what? We're keeping the masks.
Psych.
It's just like, all right, whatever. You know, do whatever, man. I don't know.
It's so unclear, like what's going on anywhere. Like just even when you like try to go out somewhere, like it's from one place to the next. There's like no standard, and it's like it's so hard unless you're like keeping close track of the news to get like a gauge of like what's even going on or like how people feel, because it's so uneven.
Sure, and it's, you know, it's at a period now where it's probably much more localized in terms of like where it's like hitting really bad, and it's really unclear, like to speak again to the sort of the death numbers, right? It's like how is any of that going to really be calculated anymore? Like how are they establishing those rules, and some of those rules are shifting now about how they're defining what, and they stopped having to report them,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Really, and so it's like, so you know, it's just like, you know, stumbling through the fucking dark here.
Totally abandoned, totally alone. There's no, you know,
well, we have each other.
That's all.
You have us, dear listener, and we love you so very much.
I'm going to take care of you. Everything's going to be fine. I'm your dad, and everything's fine. You're going to be okay. We're going to get through
Tucking
this.
you in, putting the little hat on you to go to sleep.
If you subscribe to a secret tier of Patreon, which is invite only, you get my ASMR where I tell you everything's going to be okay.
Actually, the only way to access that is to increase your your pledge.
Yeah. Logarithmically.
It's a lot, but you have to
You have to guess the number.
Yeah, it's really high.
It's $6.
All right. I think that's enough death and destruction for one evening.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Well, until some other horrible thought plagues me for 3 weeks.
Here, I can tell. You know what? Actually, I got a good
Go ahead.
wrap up fun story.
All right, let's hit it.
I was watching this. The rats thing made me think of this. I watched this this interview with this old Irish World War I vet.
No! Fuck off!
And, all right, let's just end. Let's just go.
Well, everybody, stay cool.
Enjoy your nightmares tonight.
Good luck. Good night and good luck. Stay cool. Goodbye.
Stay cool.
All right, Carrie, get off the call, and now I'll tell you.
Everybody's got something to do. Everybody but you. Come on and dance with me, dance with me. Dance with me, dance with me. Come on and dance with me, dance with me. Dance with me, dance with me. Everybody's got something to do. Everybody but you. Junior's at